You're listening to You're 40, Now What? Getting closer to early bird dinners, but still not quite ready to grow up. So hike up your pants, sip your latte, and get ready for the show. And now, the hosts of You're 40, Now What? Tach and Ron.
Welcome to our inaugural show, or episode of You're 40, Now What? I am...
The way you say that, dude. Now what?
Welcome to You're 40, Now What? I'm one of the hosts. My name is Tach.
Oh, am I supposed to tell you my name now? I'm Ron.
Hey, Ron. And on this show, we are going to just talk about the... I don't know, like the pitfalls, the life struggles, the
good and bad of being in your 40s.
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff you're still trying to hang on to from your 20s, the stuff you know that's coming in your 50s and 60s that's coming now, the life struggles of being older with, you know, your wife or your girlfriend or your kids or what have you, all the stuff, physical ailments if you have them, as I do.
Which brings up a good point. We should probably talk about our backstories. So what you got, Ron?
My back is really sore. Oh. I thought you wanted my backstory. That was really stupid. God. That was real punny. Well, I am currently married. Well, I've been married it'll be 18 years this year in July. Crazy. And I've been with my wife for 21 years. That's awesome. And I got two kids, a son who's about to be 16, and a daughter who will be 13 this summer. So that's my backstory. What about you, Tackleberry?
My backstory is I have had some failed marriages.
How many, Tack?
We're not going to get into that.
Okay.
But I do have three kids, twin 18-year-old girls, and an almost 10-year-old
You have three kids from
son.
5 different moms?
No, all from the same mom. But I do currently have a girlfriend. We've been together about 6-7 months, and everything seems to be going very well so far. So
is the sex hot?
It is.
Oh, nice, nice, dude.
But that's a different show. We're not talking about that.
Yeah, that's your other podcast where people live vicariously.
Which also brings me to another thing. The two of us are not new to podcasting at all. We both have had multiple shows. Sorry, I'm turning it down a little bit. Both had multiple shows. Ron, what's your podcasting background?
I've been mostly doing the sports thing here for a few years, semi-successfully.
I know nothing about.
But it's quite a contentious biz there, sports podcasting, sports writing. And I've broken away from that, looking to do something that's more fun, lighthearted, a little bit more freedom of creativity, less contentious. So that's my deal.
Less stress, which is what we all want in our 40s.
Yes, definitely less stress for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you were like stressed out. I mean, you were, because your sports, basically you were doing like a Miami Dolphins football fancast, podcast, whatever it's called, and you were doing very well, very successful. You were getting up there, but you had a lot of demand.
It had way too much demand. It's just, and I mean, if I had nothing else to do, that's one thing, but I'm like everybody else that's listening to this show. You're probably listening to this on the way to work or from work, or maybe you're listening from one job to another, who knows, or, trying to listen to it while you're dealing with the kids or, cleaning the house or who knows, cooking dinner, all the things you got to do in life. So it just was too much demand on my time. So I'm definitely looking forward to this podcast.
Yeah, so the topics we're going to talk about is basically things that he and I already talk about anyway, so we figured we'd just throw mics in front of us. And why not, I
mean, it's the stuff that people are listening, it's the stuff you probably talk about with your friends, but if you've noticed, your conversations when you were when you were 20, in your 20s, I mean, the conversations when you were 1, now the conversations when you were in your teens and 20s definitely probably circled a lot around, well, what are you going to do tonight? Let's grab some pizza. Let's look at some girls. Let's hit the strip club. Let's go find some more girls. Hey, you talking to this girl? Yeah, I'm talking to that girl. How you going to get some? And all that fun stuff. I mean, it's pretty much was dominating your 20s. I was
having those conversations 6 months ago.
Yeah. But we still have those conversations a little bit. But then mixed in there is like, oh, dude, I threw out my back, or I'm fat, I'm old.
I mean, let's be honest, that's really just you.
Okay, thanks. I've got gray hairs. You don't have gray hairs, Tach, yet?
I do have my goatee a little bit.
Oh, okay. That means they're up in your head, too. You just hadn't noticed it yet. And then, of course, you know, we're starting to sense our own mortality. I think it's a big change.
Oh my God, that is a whole show.
Yeah, when you get into your 30s and 40s, and I don't know that everybody's that way, but I know I've been that way the last probably 5 years, kind of starting to sense my own mortality and realize, hey, you don't live forever. When you're 20, you don't think about that. You feel like 80 is so far away, or 90 when you're 20 years old. You can't even see it. When you hit 40, you can see it, man. For whatever reason, even though it's really far away, you can see it. So your sense of, I don't know, I would just say your thought process starts to change in a lot of ways about a lot of things, but you're still thinking about some of the stuff that you did when you're 20s, and you're still trying to, you know, hold on to some dreams or whatever it might be, do some things with your life. You're not done living life by any stretch of the imagination, but you've got a lot of other competing factors in your life.
Right. 40 is like almost like it's like your second puberty almost. You know, you do another growth. You know, it's like your mind changes a little bit at 40. And the good thing about this show is that it's letting people know that they're not alone with their thoughts when you turn 40. I mean, I could see why people say they go through like a midlife crisis and all that. I get it, you know, because you are thinking about, shit, like I got like maybe 20 years left, you know, at 40, you know, I could die in 20 years and people will still think that's a nice long life, you know, but I'm not even close to being done. Like I still don't even know what I want to do with my life yet at 40 years old, you know?
Yeah. I've had the same career for a long time, and I have to admit, I would not mind changing careers, but then it gets hard. And I know that's something that we're going to probably talk about here a little later.
Talk about it now.
So I got a little segue there a little bit, but you know, doing something like changing careers when you're 40 something, that's way tougher than when you were 20. You know, I wish I could have figured out more what I wanted to do when I was 20. It would have been a lot easier, but you don't know. You're thinking about, I don't know, food. You're thinking about tonight's dinner, getting some beers and getting laid. I mean, that's what you're thinking about when you're 20. So you're not focused on the right things, but you know, what are you going to do?
Yeah, this is the time in your life where you kind of work the hardest is right now, you know, 30s and 40s and sometimes in your 50s. I was talking to some old guys I work with or used to work with at work, and they kind of made me feel better because I was talking to them. They were like in their 60s plus, you know, and I was talking to them just kind of explaining like, yeah, I mean, I'm 40 now and I feel like I don't have much time left. I've realized my own mortality and it scares me. And the two of them looked at each other and laughed. And I was like, what? And they were like, you're still a kid, man. And like, I would love to be 40 again. Like, you were still a kid.
The 80-year-old wants to be 60. The 100-year-old guy wants to be 80. I mean, that's always the way it works, but it doesn't mean we don't have these thoughts.
They still seem they didn't seem that old to me at 60 plus or 60, you know. And they obviously were older, but, you know, and that made me feel a little bit better hearing that. So
that's good. If I make it to 60, feel like I'm not the healthiest dude of late, but I'm doing some work on that there. Eliminate the stress in life a little bit. We'll talk about that as the episodes roll on.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see here. So another backstory about the two of us. Ron and I actually go way back since I think we were 12 years old. And currently right now we're 41. Both of us are 41. He is 10 days younger than me. So
that's right, old bitch.
You need to listen to me when I talk about things. Because I have
respect
10 more
my
days
elders.
of wisdom. Yeah. But we met when we were 12 years old, 1987, I think was the year. We met through a mutual friend, and we just kind of been friends ever since. Never stopped. Even like I have military in my history, so I mean I went from like one side of the country or world or whatever and back, and we just still maintain that friendship. So
yeah, definitely. We didn't always see each other. There'd be long periods of time where we didn't always see each other, or even stay in like close communication sometimes. But definitely we've always stayed friends. We've always kind of had the same thought process on a lot of things for sure. Definitely talked to each other through some stuff over life. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right, so we'll take a little break. When we come back, we'll talk about possibly changing careers in your 40s. Mm-hmm. All right, we'll be back. Haley is bored. Bored with life and endlessly looking for a purpose and her place in the universe. She knows there's more out there than working 9 to 5. She never imagined going on one job interview would change everything and open doors she never knew existed. Ancient family journals, 2 friends, and an irresistible bloodlust to deal with. Turns out being a vampire isn't as sexy as she thought it would be. Between the monster, late-night bloodbaths, and a vengeful ex-love of her man, it keeps her busy. But it doesn't have to be this way. Does it? Should she live free and forever without responsibilities? Or will she find the direction she's been looking for? One thing she does know is that she will fight for what she wants and create the perfect life without traditional vampire restrictions. And she won't let anyone or anything get in her way. Order your copy of the novel First Generation Book 1 by Zoey Emerson on Amazon. Available on paperback and Kindle. For more information, go to zoeemerson.com.
All right, welcome back to You're 40.
Now what?
Well, I swear we'll find a better way to say that. Well, I mean, so what we wanted to get into is changing careers at 40s. And I know many people are sitting there listening right now thinking, oh my God, get me out of this job. I hate it. I've been doing this for 20 years. It's what I got into when I was in my 20s. I kind of just fell into it. It was something I seemed to be decent at. So I started making decent money at it. And before I knew it, I had a wife, I had kids, I had house, and now I'm stuck and I hate my job.
Yeah.
I swear I'm not speaking from personal experience. I'm not, but just speaking in generalities here, of course. Tach, you said you found a little article there you kind of wanted to refer to about this.
On businessnewsdaily.com, the article is called Midlife Career Change, How to Make a Smooth Transition. Just kind of skimming it. It talks about starting over. Of course, making a career change in your 40s or even 50s is far from easy. After all, you spent the past few decades climbing a ladder in one industry, and now you're back to square one. Some skills are transferable, but you may find that your much younger peers are far ahead of you, especially when it comes to technology. Now, I don't know about you, Ron, but I'm pretty up to technology. I stay with the times and
embrace the technology. Pretty much. Yeah, I'm computers and whatever. Yeah.
I'm a nerd about all that kind of stuff. I like gadgets and nerdy things and computers and
I think that's what I like to say, and I'll probably use this phrase many times. We're Gen Xers with millennial tendencies. It's what keeps us. It's what keeps us youthful.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to put it. This is one of the most underrated but valued skills in any industry are your soft skills. Are you familiar with what soft skills are?
We're talking about work, or what are we talking about here? Hey, well, I have a lot of problems in my 40s, but being soft is not one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I have yet to meet the man named Ed in the bedroom.
I don't get it.
ED? No?
What?
Oh my God. ED?
ED. Oh.
Ed has not visited my bed yet.
Never. That was a reach. I've never heard that.
Was it a reach? You just didn't get it.
Yeah, I didn't get it because I have never had a conversation about that before.
Well, so. I've never had that problem, so I guess we've never had. Maybe we'll leave that topic. We'll bring somebody on that has a lot of. Like,
I'll be excited to come on.
And here's our limp dick friend Adam to talk about erectile dysfunction. Yes. Schooled. Awesome. Okay, go ahead, dude.
Okay, so we're talking about soft skills. So your soft skills is basically things like I had a whole list here a second ago. I just lost it.
You blew it.
I blew it. Soft skills encompass everything from solid leadership qualities, adaptability, good work ethic, and team player attributes. So those are like your soft skills. You have all your previous experience to draw from, and will discover skills you thought would never prove useful. Also, you have a vast network of connections that younger generations have yet to develop and can provide added value to your new position. So remember, you do have all that experience, and even like, I'm sure somebody by now has lots of management experience as well. And I don't know about you, but I mean, are you on, what the fuck is that?
Am I on what?
That
Weed?
damn thingy. Huh? What's that app?
Facebook?
No, the one professional one.
Oh, you're talking about, I know. LinkedIn?
Yeah, LinkedIn. Okay.
I know I got on there like 5-6 years ago. I never did anything with it. I didn't see the point. Just seemed
when I was
pointless.
in school, like we had to create a LinkedIn and all that. So, but yeah, if you're on LinkedIn, you have all these connections as well. So, I mean, whether it's in your new industry that you want to do or not, but I mean, but you do have all this life experience as well that is far ahead of any of the millennials now, and that you can draw from that experience. I mean, you still have skills, even if you're changing your industry like completely, like north-south pole, you still have your soft skills to fall back on, and those they transfer. They really do.
I'm gonna just call a bunch of bullshit on all that.
What do you mean?
Yeah, no, I believe that in this day and age, and I hate to say this, hate to burst your bubble, in this day and age, and when I say your bubble, I mean the listeners who are like, yeah, my soft skills, man.
Well, you're not going to get a job just on your soft skills alone.
The hell no, you're not. That's the thing. If you get in there, maybe it'll help you get somewhere. The problem is getting the damn job, because in this day and age, you don't get to put on a shirt and tie anymore and walk into a place and hand them a resume and have a conversation. And what an impressive man that was. When I talk to that guy. No, you're putting everything into a computer. Do you have this? Yes. Do you have this? Yes. Do you have this? No. Do you have this? No. And then, then it gets kicked out somewhere in the abyss, and you never hear jack about it. And you can put in 100 applications, and that's what ends up happening. I know people are listening now saying the same thing. Putting in applications for careers or jobs that, yeah, maybe you don't have that experience, but the skills are transferable, like you were talking about. Know they're transferable, but for whatever reason, they have these, these bullet points, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever they happen to be. And if you don't hit those, they don't care that your skills are transferable. And that's the frustration. And a lot of that comes from just whether you do have or don't have education, right? And you think, okay, so is this conversation really about changing careers in your 40s, or is it about having to get the right education in your 40s, whether that's vocational or getting your bachelor's or something like that? Because that's what these people a lot of times are looking for when we're talking about career jobs.
Well, I was under the assumption that they already had gone to said school or something like that, and you have all these soft skills to back up, to back you up as well.
I see.
And
so
you're life experience.
You're referring to it more.
I'm going to go apply for, a brand new position that I have zero experience on and just rely solely on my reliability and friendliness.
Yeah.
You have to have a.
So you're talking more about once you get into the job, having success in that job, relying on some of the things you've learned in your previous career.
Like maybe you went to school and you have a certification in something that you've never worked in before. So now, you're 40 and now you have your certification in whatever. I can't think of anything.
Some kind of technical field or something, like project management, even though you've never managed a project in your life.
Yeah. So you do have work experience, you have work history, you have your soft skills, you have management experience, but you've never done this technical field before. So this is where I'm assuming where the article picks up,
I gotcha. But taking it out of the article for a moment and backing up, it's tough to get your foot in the door. Or if you're going to get your foot in the door, it's like you're a grown man, you got bills. Whether you got a wife or don't have a wife, whether you got a house or a rent, whether you got kids or no kids, you got bills, you got responsibilities. You're likely not just floating out there, surfing every day, working a part-time job at Wendy's. And if you are that person, this show is probably not even interesting to you, because you're not relating to us at all right now. And I'm jealous of you, and I want to punch you in the face. But beyond that, you've got responsibilities, so you can't go get a job. Oh, I really want to go work for Publix, man. I think being a manager at Publix would be awesome, but I got to go be a full-timer for $8 an hour first. Well, kind of can't pay the bills on that. So that's really the tough part about changing careers is you're going to need to get some kind of education, some kind of skill, some kind of certification. You're going to have to do that while you're working, most likely. And then you've got to try and get yourself into an entry-level position in that career that isn't going to put you in the poorhouse and make you lose and make you put on the street in a cardboard box because you wanted to change careers. That is the big challenge. And I'm not sitting here saying I have the answers because I've been in the same field a long time trying to think about how can I do that. I still really haven't quite figured that one out. But that's the big challenge that we're really talking about here. Once you get into it, relying on the soft skills, that's great. It's trying to make that actual change to begin with is one of the toughest things you can do at our age. I would even say it's probably more challenging than when you get into your 50s, because probably when you get into your 50s, now maybe if you had kids, perhaps they're grown up, they're out of the house, perhaps you have a few less people really truly relying on you to go to work every day and put food on the table, and you can kind of maybe make that chance. But when you got kids in there, they're 8, 10, 12, 14, I mean, you can't take risks like that sometimes unless you have a significant other that can foot the bill.
Right. And that's one of the challenges that I grew, because I was single for a long time, so I didn't have that second income.
Which is even harder for you in that case. I'd say that's even harder.
It is. And, I mean, everybody's transition is going to be different depending on what your goal is, what your plan is. But the beauty of it is it's absolutely possible. And you shouldn't... I think happiness is more important than anything else in the entire world, because nothing is worse than being at a job that you just fucking hate and you dread to go to. And like
it drains on you. It drains on you mentally. It'll cause you problems in your life and your relationships eventually. Yeah. It really does drain on you mentally.
You don't want to spend 20 years, or maybe you've already spent 20 years being miserable, and you can't keep going on for another 20. There's no freaking way.
Agreed. Totally agreed.
So I mean, it is absolutely possible. There are ways to do it, and you can be very successful. There are tons of successful people that didn't start till late. Like, I know you were talking about it, one example, but another example too, this is a big example, but like Morgan Freeman, he didn't start acting until he was in his 50s, and he's very successful, obviously. Mm-hmm.
Stan Lee, I'm pretty sure he didn't start creating any of the Marvel characters until he was 40 years old. Yeah. Now, obviously we're talking about exceptions. So if we talk about what's more likely and more realistic, really the thing is you're going to have to find a career that you can, that once you get the proper either education, training, whether that's vocational, certification, whatever it is, that you can get into the entry-level side that you can, you're going to probably take a little hit, but it's a hit you can kind of manage through without putting yourself in the poorhouse. That's the key. You can't. We know it's not realistic to go somewhere and start at a minimum wage job because you want to go work for this company. That's just not likely something you're going to be able to do. So you just have to be smart about what that is, and it's not going to be easy because then for a while you're going to be talking about doing the job that you're currently doing that you probably hate, and trying to keep up your responsibilities on top of trying to get some education, whatever that might be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I know there's some of you out there also thinking about starting your own business. That's a whole nother thing that's another topic altogether.
It's not much it's not something I really
I don't know a whole lot about it myself.
Yeah. I'd love to own my own business. I just don't know what that would be.
Yeah, but how cool is that? I mean, what's better than working for yourself? Nothing. And that's everybody's dream. That's the American dream, really. And not everybody can reach that, but you can.
Yes, you can.
Got anything else on that topic?
I know. I mean, I think we beat that.
I just don't want people to feel like, well, there's nothing I can do. I was going to change careers, but not now.
No, not now. I'm just going to go jump off a bridge. Thanks, guys.
It is possible. You can do it.
You can do it.
You're still young. Remember that. We really are. Even though we don't feel like it, we are. We are still kids. I still feel like a kid for sure. I still play video games. I still, I keep up with my kids.
Heck yeah. I mean, I've been
still,
actually got out of the video game thing there for a little while.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely sliding back into it. For sure. You
good.
kept up on it more than me.
Yeah. Like I'm still on my phone all the time like a teenage girl. I'm on Facebook. You know, I stay up to date with things.
Look at you. Like you said, those Gen Xers with millennial tendencies. That's what it's all about.
True.
Hey, it keeps us young. We sip our lattes and get on Facebook. Our $6 coffees.
And I like that. I like Starbucks.
I love Starbucks.
All right, so we're going to take another little break. And when we come back, I think we should talk about sex, Ron. I think we need to have that conversation.
I can't wait.
All right, we'll be back.
Village Idiot Pub. You locals know about it. You guys from out of town have to check them out.
Village Idiot Pub is proud to sponsor Your 40 Now What podcast.
Tach and Ron from Your 40 Now What seem to have found a perfect sponsor. A pub with over 30 beers on tap, including ciders, as well as hundreds of bottle choices.
You forgot my favorite, all the delicious wine. So get your friends together and enjoy the board games, puzzles, and the giant Jenga.
Let the owner, Jason, as well as the rest of the staff there, take excellent care of your beer drinking needs. Tuesday is open mic, Wednesday is trivia, Thursday is karaoke, Friday and Saturday night are live music.
Visit them at 4 Harrison Street, Suite 103, Cocoa, Florida, or Village Idiot Pub on Facebook. And don't forget, they are a dog-friendly location, so bring your friends, family, and fur babies.
All right, welcome back to Your 40 Now What's. And as Tach teased, going into the break,
I like teasing you.
we're going to talk about sex. But we're not going to talk about our sex.
No.
We're going to talk about the dreaded conversation about teaching your kids about sex.
Oh.
But here's the thing. Me and Tach would love to talk to you about all those, what you should do, what you say. We totally coughed out and let the schools do it. Oh, we pussed out so hard on it. I was just like, I don't know, man. I still have trouble talking to my kids about that. It's just, I don't know. I can make funny jokes about it, but I haven't sat down and had that. And especially with my son. He's almost 16. Now, luckily for me, he's not out and about hanging out with friends. He's kind of a homer, gamer, online, things like that.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, I need to sit down and man up and have some serious conversations with him, especially, right? And I haven't done it. I don't know why.
Way past it.
I don't know why it's so embarrassing. Like, what about you? I know you've got some teenage girls there.
Oh, they're 18 now. They've been sexually active for like 3 years now. There's nothing I can say to them. I give them advice, here and there. But you remember that movie American Pie?
Oh, definitely.
You know how Eugene Levy's character was?
Yes.
In that movie? He was awesome in that movie. But my mother was a lot like him. Like, my mom would come into my room and go, I want to talk about masturbation. And she would I'd be like, and so I would just hang my head in my hands and just be like, why?
Oh, my God. So it's more embarrassing for them than for us, probably.
Oh, my God. And so it was kind of funny because I say that because a couple of weeks ago I was talking to my son and he had referenced sex somehow.
And he's what, 10?
Yeah, he'll be 10 in March.
Okay.
And then I was like, do you know about that kind of stuff? And he was like,
where you parked the car in the garage?
Yeah, he's like, what do you mean? I was like, so I want to talk about sex. I was pulling the whole Eugene Levy thing, And then as soon as I said it, his head went straight into a pillow. Boom. Like, why? And then I was like,
I love it.
Well, we don't have to talk about it now. It's fine. You're good.
Yeah, let's just play Star Wars Battlefront.
Oh, I remember what it was, what we were talking about. Because my son, he gets dirty jokes.
Really?
And we were watching it was around Christmas time, and we were watching this cartoon special on Netflix, and the goal was, I can't remember who, like the elves or something were in search of Santa's sack. And every time they said that, my son would giggle. And I'm like, why are you laughing? And he was like, well, because it's funny. I'm like, why is it funny? And then he's like, I don't know. And I'm like,
now he's embarrassed to tell you.
Yeah.
Because he's talking about his nutsack, Dad.
Santa's sack. And he would just start laughing again. And of course, I'm laughing too, because I thought of it immediately. But so did he. And finally, we were like, well, because it's, it sounds like Santa's, I'm like, all right, just making sure we're on the same page. And then I swear to God, I shit you not, in this episode, somebody actually referred to it because somehow it had gotten dirty. And they actually said this, and this was a line in the show. Oh, no. Now it's not like Santa's got a dirty sack. Like, that was actually uttered. And then as soon as they said that, me and my son both lost it.
Nice.
Oh, my God. And I think that's kind of like where I was like, okay, let's talk about this. What do you know about it? And then I just couldn't do it. He was awkward. I was awkward. I was all right. You know some stuff. All right, that's cool. What are you learning this stuff?
So, I think it was 5th grade. I think they showed these videos in 5th and 6th. I think the first time is 5th and then 6th, or maybe it's 4th and 5th. I can't remember. But the first time for my son, we get the paper that comes home. It's like, I swear to God, it was the same exact paper we sent home. We were sent home with when we were kids, that same grade. And, we're going to be watching a health video about sexual blah, blah, this, that, and the other, and your body and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, man, I haven't had this conversation with them. Yeah, I'll sign right here for somebody else to have the conversation with them.
Sorry.
Well, what happened there, buddy? Is it time to go? Is it time to wake up?
That was my alarm to start getting ready for it. Go ahead.
But I was like, yeah, sure. I'll just sign this little piece of paper right here and let somebody else have the conversation with him. And so he comes home, and I was like, so how's the video? And, I'm not even, I didn't even do the good father thing. Like, is there anything you want to talk about? Or all I said was, how's the video? Please, God, don't tell me a thing. I don't want, I just go play games. And he's like, oh, it was gross. Why do we have to learn about that? And then he goes, they showed one guy with his penis, and it was all like this, and he puts his arm up in the air like like a Hitler thing, but with a fist. And I was laughing so hard. So for like a year, I'd walk up to him and I would just do that to him like that. He's like, you're gross. I still do it every now and then. It's been, I don't know, like 3 years now since he saw that video, at least 3 or 4. So it's pretty hilarious. And then I know my daughter, she's watched it in the last few years. And I just let Jackie kind of talk with her about that. But I'm pretty sure she didn't sit down and have that conversation. But I want to reference a show. It's funny. Off the air, you and I were making some Friends jokes about Joey. Yeah. He's got a new show called Man with a Plan. And I'm telling you, that show, it's this. It's like this podcast. Like the stuff that he's going through in there.
What channel is that on?
I'm going to say CBS. It's one of the main ones. NBC.
Is it a sitcom?
Yeah, sitcom. It's NBC or CBS
show?
called Man with a Plan.
Multi-camera show or single camera show?
I don't know what that means. It's just
multi-camera is
your
like
typical sitcom,
Single
like Friends,
camera?
like your typical sitcom. It's got a laugh track, everything.
Okay,
It's not a satire comedy. It's your typical sitcom. It's really funny because all these kind of conversations and some of this stuff we're talking about, they actually had an episode devoted to exactly what we're talking about here. And it was the same thing. Like they were totally copping out, letting the schools do it. And I was like, oh my God, it's not just me. I felt like such a bad parent, but apparently I think people are probably listening to this right now thinking, oh, I totally did that too. It is embarrassing. I know some people that it's not embarrassing to them. Like you said, I guess with your mom, let's talk about masturbation.
No, not let's talk about, I want to talk about.
I want to talk about chafing the carrot. Do you have a moment? I have a carrot. But yeah, I pussed out, man. I still kind of pussed out. But for real though, I'm just sitting here thinking like I need to sit down. Now I've had the drug conversation with my child.
Oh yeah.
Like I had that one early. That was not an embarrassing conversation. I've had the smoking conversation. Like I've had those conversations, but the sex one's just embarrassing. It's so weird. Like I'll see a movie with my kids and I'll let I was very protective of what my kids watched as a young child because I saw things I should not have seen at 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. I shouldn't have been watching The Exorcist at 6 years old. Oh my God.
Right, yeah. I watched a lot of bad shit too.
Yeah, it's horrible. So I really protected my kids and stuff. But as my son's gotten older, he's not really into movies that much anyway, but he's seen some stuff. And I don't care if he sees violence. I don't care if he sees blood. I don't care if he sees gore. I don't care if they curse like crazy. But I still cannot stand for him to be anywhere around if there's anything even slightly sexual on the screen or there's any nudity.
That's
like,
can
you get out? Close your eyes! Close your eyes! I still freak out. I mean, the kid's almost 16 years old. I was watching freaking porn when I was 16.
Oh yeah,
you know,
definitely.
But I'm so protective of that, like so scared that he's gonna see that on television or something. I don't know why. I mean, I'm probably overprotective about that. It's a strange. Maybe it's a strange thing. Maybe it's not a strange thing. I don't know.
I wouldn't worry about it now at his age, at 16. So
still. I'll probably be, if I'm 50 and he's, in his 20s, I'll probably still be like, I got to leave the room. If there's a movie with sex in it, if my son's in the room or my daughter. Yeah. No, I can't watch this in front of you guys. It's like, hey, guys, let's have a family night. Want to watch 50 Shades of Grey? Nope. Sorry. Let's watch Santa Claus the movie. I don't know. I just can't let go of that, them being little kids.
Yeah.
So, you decided then not to push the issue with your son when he put face and pillow?
Not at the time. He's still a little bit young. He's only almost 10. He's not even 10 yet. So I just wanted to kind of put out the feelers, so to speak, and just kind of see where he's at. That's where I was. But I do think it's going to be easier with my son than it would have been.
You don't think he's hitting it or anything, do you?
Huh?
You don't think he's hitting it or anything, do you?
No, not yet. I think he's just kind of at that.
So let's
really disgusting.
Let's bring this to another level. You talked about how your girls, they're 18 now, and they're obviously exploring their bodies, exploring the world. I don't want to make it sound like they're exploring the world. That was a really bad choice of words. So yeah, I'll just use your words. They're sexually active. So how did that make you feel when you first heard they were? Was it just like cringeworthy? Like, oh my God, no.
Yeah.
Someone's defiling my child. I will kill you.
I thought it was too young at 15, but apparently it's not. I mean, they were like.
Oh, it's not unusual.
Fresh 15.
No, it's not unusual at that age. But I agree that
girls,
I think it's too young, but it's not unusual.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was learning. Like for girls, it's not. That's about the right age for girls. That's when they do it.
It's the totally wrong age. It's just the common age.
Yeah.
I think we're confusing right with what's common.
It's not the right age. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, cringe definitely. I was just like, ugh. And then when I first found out about it, I would talk to friends and like other girls would be like, "That's how old I was." What? That's how old I was. What? And so I kept hearing that a lot, and I'm like, I guess it's pretty common. That's how old their mother was as well, and so
we were kind of late bloomers.
Oh yeah, I was like 20.
I was 19. I was 19.
It's not that I didn't want to; I just couldn't find somebody that wanted me to.
Oh yeah, I would have been hitting it at 8 if I could have found something.
Yeah, exactly.
Now we have friends that were finding it not at 8, but
yeah,
like at 14, 15. Like we knew people that were taking care of business. Now we have a friend that was like in their 20s, right? Like kind of deep into their 20s.
Yeah. I think like late 20s.
Late 20s. Wow.
I think.
I thought it was more like mid 20s.
Yeah, maybe it was about 25 or so, maybe.
Yeah. Dang, that's pretty late.
Yeah.
Good times. But making up for lost time now, huh, buddy? Oh, wait, that's you. I've been married for 20 years. Hey, I'm still making up for lost time, just not playing the field.
All right, well, cool. We do have to cut this one short, but this is our first episode, so we have first of many. We probably normally would run for about an hour or so, but
yeah, it's good. The first one we're giving them is short. That's the way to really bring it in.
Just give them a little taste.
A little taste. All right, cool.
Well, we do have tons of topics to talk about and discuss. And so we don't have any social media yet. We will very soon. Yeah. So what do you think, Ron?
Yeah, good first, man. Good first. Definitely some fun stuff to talk about, but we barely scratched the surface of the crap I've got written down here because it's really endless. It's endless. The things that we'll talk about. I mean, we'll get into our own sex lives instead of talking about our kids' sex lives, which is a little weird when we put it like that. We'll get into the tendencies we have that are young, more youthful tendencies. I know we've kind of scratched on it a little bit with the Starbucks, but we'll get into the tendencies that we have in our old tendencies, as in things you would probably more do in your 50s or 60s, things that drive us crazy that probably didn't when we were young, just all kinds of crap. I mean, it's an endless list. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to this first episode of Your 40 Now What. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, I was Ron.
And I was Tach, still am.
Okay. And we'll see you guys next week. Thanks a lot.
All right, see you.